me at the moment with As Ever, it was
Oh God,
great.
here we
We planned for a year, and then everything sells out in 45 minutes. With yes, amazing, great news.
But then what do you do then?
The verdict is out. Meghan Markle is insane, and I'm convinced that she is rage baiting us all. In her bonus episode of Confessions of a Female Flounder, she grabs the mic from Beyonce's mom and tries to convince us that she's not a fraudulent flounder, and she fails miserably. We have so much to talk about. Hey everyone, welcome back to AshleyBTV. I'm a former TV news reporter who takes you behind the headlines. Join the beekeepers, hit that subscribe button, help us reach our next goal of 10,000 subscribers. We have such a fun episode for you today because some of you said, don't even bother. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't listen to her last podcast episode. I thought maybe I'll just listen to a couple minutes as I was about to go to sleep last night. And then I kept having this on my face. What are you even saying, Meghan Markle, that I knew I had to come on here? And I just want to say, I don't love making these videos, although this one's going to be fun because it kind of like inspires me out of rage. Like it enrages me. And I don't think that that's a great place for anyone to be working out of rage. But when someone is so fraudulent and they continue to publish a false narrative and continues to lie and use people like Beyonce's family, that's when it's like, we gotta talk about this because this is absolutely crazy. So she interviews Tina Knowles, and to start, this is what I'm convinced. She kept saying while she was promoting this episode and while she was in the episode, when the matriarch calls, you answer. Acting like Tina Knowles needed her to do this interview. Tina Knowles was like, yo, Meghan, I really need your support right now. I'm sorry, you're Tina Knowles. Like, you have Beyonce, you have the Beehive. We're also the Beehive on this channel. We're the beekeepers. So beekeepers, Beehive, yo, Beyonce, should we work together? But Tina Knowles doesn't need you. She came out with a book. It was #1 on the New York Times bestseller. Do you think Tina Knowles was like, Meghan, please put me on your podcast? Because Meghan's like, we need a bonus episode. We need one right now. No, you didn't need a bonus episode for Tina Knowles. You needed a bonus episode for you because everyone, like myself, who was the one who called out your claims on this channel that your jam was all a scam. If you haven't watched those deep dives, I want you to watch those next. But you had to use this episode to serve as your claim that you actually had a product to survive, right? So I'm convinced that Meghan went to Beyonce first and Beyonce was like, oh, hell no, I don't need that. Like, I don't want your tainted Markle juice all over my Beehive brand, which is, she's got the Beehive, we've got the beekeepers. Me and Beyonce are basically partners. If her and Meghan Markle are best friends, then we are basically business partners. And instead, somehow she gave up her mom as the sacrificial lamb to be on Meghan Markle's podcast because let's be real. Meghan Markle does not need 2 microphones for her podcast. She only needs 1 because constantly, basically, Tina Knowles was trying to say like, yeah, I built this brand. I'm 70 years old. I built what her brand is. It's called Sacred. It's like beauty hair products. And Tina Knowles had a salon for many, many years called Headliners. So I don't know if you guys have this where you live, but we have one in Columbus, Ohio called Pen Zone. And it's in, I think, other states as well, where basically you like go in, get your hair done. It's where I go. I love it. And you can have a glass of wine. Like it's kind of more upscale, but still actually very affordable. But you get in and out. You don't spend like a billion hours there, but it's a little nicer, right? And so she creates this back in like the 80s and it takes off. And she's been wanting to do a hair care brand with Beyonce this entire time. But Beyonce's like, I don't have time. I don't have time. And then eventually they launched the brand. It's doing really well. So that's the whole reason that she's on this podcast is for Meghan to interview her because her book called Matriarch just came out. And for someone who has created such iconic, famous, very driven women, this could have been a slam dunk. Meghan continues to have time and time again where she could take back the narrative of how narcissistic she is by just literally asking people questions. You saw we had an interview with a panel from Justin Bieber's church in a couple episodes from now. And yes, you're going to insert your commentary with your experience, but for the most part, you're going to put the questions on other people, right? Like that's why you have them on your podcast. And Meghan continues to take back the microphone from Tina Knowles and instead tell stories about herself. I want you to listen to this. Okay, so I'm going to play a clip where Tina is essentially talking about how she found herself through building her business, because this is the question that Meghan asks. And then Meghan grabs the mic from her, metaphorically, and makes it about her and being a mother. Okay, listen to this.
And you just feel accomplished. Now, I don't think that I would have gotten that had I not had the hair salon. That's where I learned to be a business person. I learned to be a boss. I learned to take care of business and organize things. And I got a lot of self-esteem from that.
I love this. Basically, Tina Knowles is saying, I built my confidence not from talking about doing something. So this is really pointed at Meghan, but from actually doing it. I had a lot of confidence because I ran this company and I just stayed, head down in the trenches building this company. Remember how Meghan said she was in the trenches? No, this is what in the trenches is.
And so I think that it's for me, it was the other way around.
That's really helpful, because a lot of people would say you need to know yourself before you know what you're going to start. But it seems like we're all kind of figuring it out along the way. And also we evolve as women.
Absolutely.
And the chapters of being a mother evolve. I mean, Archie turns 6 tomorrow.
No one asked about Archie. And now it's like Meghan, this is what I'm convinced. Meghan had points that she knew. She's like, I'm going to talk about Lily. We're going to get to that in a second, because she then exploits Lily on her Instagram. Again, hold that thought. I'm going to talk about Archie. And should we talk more about him losing teeth? I don't remember if that's what she said, but she loves talking about Archie. Oh, and the joys of being a mother. And she eventually talks about her fraudulent products. So hold on.
Where did the time go?
Where did the time go? I remember carrying him out there, and I was just like, he is now 6 years old. We had his birthday party yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
But you look up and really, I think everything is in constant fluid motion, but the common denominator is you knew, even when you had a salon back then, to now having sacred in this moment in time.
Oh, God.
The connective tissue is the same.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The connected tissue. And Meghan later also talks about authenticity. And I know you guys are like, what are you still talking about authenticity? Like, the amount of times that you talk about authenticity, you think you would have just learned, wait, should I take a minute and figure out what does authenticity mean? Because it's wild how many times she talks about authenticity instead of just being authentic, instead of just being her authentic self. So Tina Knowles talks about it's very important to figure out your thing and just triple down on it and get really good, which is what obviously she did with Beyoncé, right? Like, she talks about Beyoncé had a time in her career where she could have done this hair care beauty brand with me, but instead she had to focus on getting better at singing, getting better at dancing, getting better at putting together a really strong product, and then you make incremental moves, right? Like Beyonce going from pop, R&B, I don't know music that well, to her country music. So it's not like Beyonce is not making pivots, but she's doing it incrementally because you're staying in your lane of your niche. And that's exactly what Tina talks about. And here's where the bombshell is coming and proves our point that Meghan put out this bonus episode of the podcast to address the hate and to essentially clap back at the claims that she is a fraudulent flounder because she has zero product. And so many of you have pointed out, I've seen this everywhere, that so many people still have not gotten their products that they ordered from Meghan. And she also put on her Instagram that more product is coming soon. So what did I do for you guys? I put my name and my email on every single list because I was originally on the email to begin with because I wanted to test the products. But I want to hear from you before we play the part where she dives into this insanity where she's trying to prove to us, no, I actually have a brand. I have products. It's just hard. It's just really, really hard. I want to hear from you. Do you want me to try the products if somehow I can get my hands on them with this next batch? If so, what products would you want me to try? Her jam, her crepe mix, her shortbreads, her honey was like $1 billion. And this YouTube creator called The Swish, I'm going to see if she can come on the show. She pointed out that she hasn't seen any reviews on Meghan's honey. So she's curious as to if this honey was even made or if it was just like falsely advertised. So let me know in the comments below, is there a product of Meghan's, if I do somehow get on this next batch, that you want me to try? I will do it for you. I will do it for the plot. You know I will. But I need you to listen to this, because this is where it's like, goodness.
Backs, because it takes a long time with products. You have to test them, and then you gotta a lot of times just go all the way and start all over again.
I know. Trust me. Do you know why I know? Because when you're talking about consumables, even jam.
Yes, because you're doing food.
Yes, you go, it has the same restriction, not the same, but very similar restrictions and
Right.
nuance as when you're looking at FDA, as when you're looking at
Exactly.
compliance for beauty, people that do skincare and sun creams and all of that. I think, we all have this level of constant stress testing.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm convinced a lot of times people, before they go on a podcast, they get kind of a list, maybe not necessarily the exact questions, but they will get like topics. 100%. Meghan was like, okay, Tina, the goal of me doing this episode, yes, of course, I want to hear about your story, but the goal is for me to justify why I don't have product right now. So I need you to I need you to start it. And you're going to talk about how hard testing is and to formulate products and to get it manufactured. So then I can tell my story. 100%. This was staged. Like, I will sign my name on the red dotted line saying, I know this was staged, just like I knew that the Jam brand was a scam. And she pointed this out in her Fast Company article that the Jam brand is no more. So it's like, I called it once, we're going to call it again.
Product, and you can say, I made this in my house, like you with your egg whites
Yeah,
and your
any more
olive oil.
coffee.
And I'm going, I just picked these strawberries and it's so great. Look, I just
Right.
put a little bit of sugar and some Meyer lemon. And you try to scale that
Oh
up.
yeah.
And you're wanting to manage expectations, but you want to share the thing you've worked so hard on.
Right.
And
The thing you've worked so hard on, making a batch of jam. Like, my family literally makes jam. Like, it's not that hard. All of us could chat GPT, Google it, Pinterest it. Guys, should we do an episode making jam? You know that I made all of her like a bunch of her recipes. By the way, if you haven't watched that video, it's right here. Click it next. It's a fun watch. It's a fun watch. And I'm an honest. I'm not too harsh, but I am
so
honest.
for me at the moment with As Ever, it was
Oh God,
great.
here we
We planned for a year, and then everything sells out in 45 minutes. With yes, amazing, great news.
But
Liar.
then what do you do then?
And this is where Tina should have gone, oh yes. How much, I'm just curious, like how much was in that first batch? That would be, I'm just so curious. How much was in that first batch? Does she say that? No.
Then what do? And then you say, okay, we planned as best as we could.
Yes.
Are we going to replenish and sell out again in an hour? Or is that annoying as a customer?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
is.
Are we gonna, because obviously we're gonna sell out again. No. If you really cared, you would make enough product like every single other brand in the world does. Hailey Bieber is a great example of this. Along with Selena Gomez. Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez, Kylie Jenner, the Kardashians. I don't care if you like them or not. Really makes no difference. It's that they built products that they actually cared about, quote unquote cared about. They invested their money, their time, their energy, and they built what Meghan is somehow trying to do at Jam. And they weren't going on every single podcast in the world saying, oh, we sold out in 45 minutes, which, by the way, Meghan addresses that was all very tactical. But no, they built brands that lasted. And now you can look all over Selena's Instagram, everywhere. And she shows up every now and then, but she's not the whole face of the product anymore. Like, the product is so powerful. I love Rare Beauty. I would love to partner with them in the future, but I genuinely use so much of their product, their contour sticks, their blush. It's amazing, but they've built a product that sustains and that people want to rebuy over and over again. Unlike Meghan's farce jam scam.
Just pause.
Yeah.
That happened. Let's wait until we are
Ready to
completely
go.
stable and we have everything we need.
I go through the same thing.
How is it that you have a team of probably over a dozen, probably, let's be real, like a couple dozen team members who are helping you manufacture? You're a duchess. You have $100 million deal. And you are trying to tell the world that you didn't make enough product, like you genuinely, and you don't have a stable foundation in place to sustain and continue to build this brand? You are just such
right?
a
Where you're
dork.
trying to just balance inventory, cost,
Yes.
No, she's trying to address the hate right now. She's trying to address what everyone has been saying of this was all a scam. And I really, really, truly believe that she is rage baiting us all. So I am convinced that she's actually just trying to rage bait us all because she knows that this is going to drum up headlines, which is why she had to put out this bonus episode. It's her way of telling us, with telling Tina Knowles, oh, there's going to be more. Like, I promise. We just have to get more
I mean, at least our
stable.
things are shelf stable.
Yes. And that's another thing. Ours, they have a,
Endgame, I think you're right. Those behind the scenes moments, how many tears I've shed.
stayed up all night because we have this edge drop thing. And I feel bad because people are saying, you guys aren't making enough stuff and we're looking for it and we can't find it. So
And now Tina is talking about how her products actually will sell out. And this is Meghan's perfect opportunity. This is why we know it was all staged to begin with. Meghan's perfect opportunity to say, well, there is a scarcity fun, like a sneaker drop mindset at first, but we
I don't
can't
think
keep
it's such a
doing that.
good thing all the time to sell out.
Yeah, I think that scarcity mentality at the beginning might be a
Yes.
hook for people, not dissimilar to a sneaker drop. Great.
Yes, exactly.
But when you're talking about products,
Products that you need to be consistent with are foods that you want to provide to your family.
I don't want you to eat that jam once every 6 months.
Right.
I want that to be on your shelf all
Right.
the time. You want us to wash our hair with these products all the time. So trying to keep up with that demand, I think, is something that's really helpful for people to have that insight on no matter who you are, that part of the process as an entrepreneur is not easy, that
hard.
numbers game. And,
Yes.
I know that in the
She is-
pages of your new memoir,
my God, I
Matriarch,
It is just hard to listen to because you can feel her continuing to use these female founders over and over again to justify her floundering brand. And it's so crazy that she thinks we can't see through this, but she knows what is going to drum up the headlines. And the rage bait with this episode is going to be Meghan Markle justifies jam brand. Meghan Markle says jam is coming soon. She also references, wouldn't it be so fun? Like that you worked with your daughters, which again, this was planned that she said this. Wouldn't it be so fun if me and Lily one day built a business? Meghan, you don't have a business now. Like, focus on your business now before you try to drum up another business with your daughter. So get this. Right when she releases this, the next day she releases this on her Instagram, which now you can genuinely say she is exploiting her children. So take a look at her Instagram page. Every time she has shown her children, it's been from the back, right? This is Lily from the back. We have this photo of them from the back. We see their beautiful red hair. We see Archie. And then what does she do? A day after, she says, I would love to build a business with Lily one day. Build a business on your own first. She posts this photo. This is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, I know some of you guys are way better sleuths than I am, that she shares a photo with Lily. Also, look at her massive diamonds. Can't hate on that. Girl can love her frosting, but she exploits Lily and says, happy birthday to our beautiful girl. 4 years ago today, she came into our lives and each day is brighter and better because of it. Thanks to all of those sending love and celebrating her special day. I wonder if Prince Harry, oh, and then this, like, what? You're like, why are you posting this, like, essentially naked hospital bed photo? If not to, now you're exploiting your daughter. And what's going to happen is what you guys are going to see in the headlines is people are going to take this photo. Mark my words, mark them. They're going to take this photo and pair it with Meghan wants to build brand with daughter and take this information from the podcast and pair them together. Once again, exploiting her children. I don't really care if any of you guys post your photos all over of your kids all over the internet. I don't care. I have no idea what I would do. I feel like that's a very personal, thing that you have to figure out with your partner if your kids are going to go on social media. But when Meghan Markle does it, it's for exploitation. It's for a reason. It's very strategic. It's just like we saw Taylor Swift very strategically going out with Selena Gomez, going out with Dakota Johnson, not showing her face with Blake Lively. You always have to look at what is the subheader and what is the info behind the headline. And we're going to be interviewing more people on the show in the future about like how headlines work and things like that, because we love taking things behind the headlines. And what Meghan Markle continues to do, thinking we're dumb, is using her podcast to have it almost be like her FYI, like, wait, just so you know, our product is coming soon, to clap back at the haters, and not even the haters, but the criticism of, you are someone on a global platform who your product is going to be criticized. And if you don't have a product and you're continuing to tell us you do, and you build this whole new brand this year about how you have a product and how you're a female founder, you're going to build a podcast about it, you're going to build a TV show about it, you have zero product. Netflix has completely disappeared. Like, I feel like Netflix is like, we just put out the show and close our eyes. Then people will continue to criticize this kind of fraudulent activity. So when Meghan puts out photos of her children, she is exploiting them because she's trying to craft a narrative arc. So this was such a doozy to cover. Some of you said we'd rather watch a video of you talking about it than actually listening to the podcast. But that brings up another point of, you know, where you put your time, your energy, and your clicks, it is helping to support these celebrities. So if you don't like them, if you don't want to follow them, then you really should instead like help support the creators who are covering it. Like, if you still want to be in the know, instead of, for instance, you buying their products, or, you know, someone buying a Blake Brown product, or someone clicking on a podcast episode, which she only had, I think it was 800,000 or less downloads. Instead of downloading it, just support, honestly, creators. If you want to still stay in the know, but you don't want to support them, what you're doing, hate watching, you're still giving them the click, you're giving them the download, you're giving them the airtime, the playtime. So it's telling all of their brands that they're working with and all their partnerships that they can, no matter if it's for good publicity or bad publicity, they will drum up publicity, they will drum up the clicks, they will drum up the plays. So if you don't want to support them, truly don't listen or support any of their content. But if you still want to stay in the know, you can support creators like myself. This is all just a trick to get you to watch more of my content. No, but it's really something to think about, because in this type of like media economy, your dollar is really like your click, is your watch time, is your eyes, is your attention. So time right now is just as valuable as money, and it's equating to the same thing, if not more valuable, because it's showing that you can drum up the buzz, drum up the headlines, and create a sustainable brand. So if you don't want to continue to support people that you think are fraudulent, that are, you know, creating false narratives, that are just exploiting things, exploiting children, exploiting royal titles, something to definitely consider. Don't support them. Don't click, don't play, just watch creators. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please join the Beekeepers, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of fun on this channel. We take you behind the headlines. We've got a lot coming up. If you haven't already and you're interested in going inside Justin Bieber's cult or church, I was actually a part of that church for over 10 years. I introduce a chat with a panel, and we kind of take you inside what the church is like. We analyze, is this a cult? Is this not a cult? What's going on with Bieber? What's going on with their pastor? We have a very nuanced and interesting conversation. I think you should watch this next, and I'll leave a link to all of our Meghan and royal coverage below in the description. I will see you in the next one. Ciao.